I'm Suzanne Sibilla. I'm the owner of Sibilla and Associates, which is the premier leadership and employee development company.
Overcome obstacles, reframe your reality, love life, and have growth goals. Change and shift your energy. Pivot.
Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Suzanne Sibilla, and I'm your host for Pivot Now, where we bring on exciting, interesting, and dynamic guests who will share with us their life and business pivots. So today we bring on an amazing, amazing person. Her name is Sharon Bolt. Sharon is the founder of Get Free Publicity Today. She's also a mindset and media expert. So welcome to our show, Sharon Bolt.
Hello, Suzanne.
It's so good to see you. It's actually so great to meet you.
And
so Sharon and I actually connected with each other. She helped me in terms of getting some free publicity, and I was on a show, and it's so great to actually meet you now on this live stream.
It's wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Yeah, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. So I know you, the title of our show today is How Two Puppies Disrupted Your Life and Business. So tell us all about it. We want to know what happened.
Wow, Suzanne, I'm going to take you back to 2004. I had a thriving business. It was a complementary therapy clinic, actually. And I was so blessed to deal with so many miraculous healing journeys for people. And I loved it. And then we got two puppies, two 8-week-old Parson Russell Terrier puppies, boys from the same litter. I thought it was going to be a really great experience. And we brought them home. They were just adorable. And then it was time to get them into puppy socialization classes. Now, I didn't realize at the time that is a really busy thing to do, really popular. So I actually spoke to several dog trainers. And when I said that I had these two puppies, boys from the same litter, they all said to me, oh my goodness, this is the worst case scenario. What really? They will do is, because they're blood related and litter mates, they will look at each other for direction. They'll do whatever they want. And it can get really nasty because they will fight for the top dog position and you're going to need to rehome one of them.
Oh my gosh, Sharon.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? I'd been naive. I hadn't researched properly. And I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I remember, Suzanne, just looking at these two little puppies, and each one fitted nicely into each hand. And I said out loud to them, I vowed to them, you two are not going anywhere. And I was on a mission. I was on a mission to find a natural way of really communicating to them in a language that they understood. And I knew 100% it couldn't be the conventional methods because obviously I'd been told so many disastrous stories. And I was on a mission then to just find a way to really communicate. And so I was able to keep my puppies. And that's how it all started. I mean, there's loads more to tell you, but that's how it all began.
Wow, that's amazing. That's an amazing story. I mean, I never knew about that with puppies. I know that they're, one wants to be the head dog, if you will. I never knew about that. So that's pretty amazing that you had to go through all that experience to deal with them. So now where are you at with, I mean, I'm sure your puppies are big now, or they're probably big dogs.
Wow. There's so much more to the story, because what happened then is I had these puppies. I was on this mission. I found a way, and I found a non-verbal way to communicate. I studied, I went on courses, but really and truly, I studied them, how they communicated to each other. And I learned how I could then position myself as the top dog in their eyes in a kind and gentle way. So this had gone on for a couple of years, and I was getting great results with them. I was also doing dog training consultations with my therapy clients, and they were getting great results. And my passion changed. They changed my passion. I no longer really wanted to work with people in their healing journey. I wanted to work with dogs. So I had all this passion then there, and I wanted to become a professional dog trainer, but I didn't know where to start. I didn't have any marketing advice. I didn't have any real business information. I didn't know where to start. I mean, it was back then where there wasn't really much on social media. So what I decided is to sign up to a PR company. And I wanted to go big. I had this important message to share. I wanted to get on the big stages, the big platforms.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, the PR company were not in agreement. They wanted me to stay small. They wanted me to work my way up, get a few local interviews and build myself up. And it was just so slow. It was painfully slow because I just wanted to get going, and I felt really stifled and contained. And then something happened that changed everything for me. Now, what that was is
We all want to know. We're like, what was it? What was it? On the edge of our seats. We want to know what that was, Sharon.
What happened, Suzanne, is that my husband was listening to one of the radio shows here in the UK, BBC Radio 2. It's a national radio station. They have 14.4 million listeners every week. And they mentioned that they were going to get a dog training expert on the show the following week. And I thought, you know what, I can do that. Okay, so I had no business. I had no dog training business. I had no subscribers. I had no website. I just had a one page on my complementary therapy website. But I really believed I could make a difference. I was getting great results, and I thought, I'm going for it. So I sat down and I wrote this email to them, and I made it all about them, all what I could do for them and their listeners and entertain them. And this is why dogs misbehave. And I sent it. Nothing back. I sent another email the next day, nothing back. But I was not going to give up. This was an opportunity that I wasn't going to let go. So I actually did a third pitch, and then the Monday morning of the following week, the researcher called me and said, "This sounds great." Well, it was 2 days later, Suzanne, I sat on a plush couch up in London in the BBC studios being interviewed as a dog training expert in front of millions and millions of people. And I did.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing, Sharon. Wow.
I told them all about the dogs, and that just catapulted into more things, because when I actually came off the show, I was on cloud nine. I mean, I was high-fiving people as I was walking down the London roads. But unfortunately, that didn't last long. So I can tell you more if you're ready.
Well, I'm curious because it's really, what an interesting story of how you actually took what your passion is, what your real, you were so passionate about dog training and about working with dogs and teaching others how to, train their dogs. I think that's just so fascinating, but you didn't have the experience, but you didn't let that stop you, which I think is a great inspirational message to our viewers. Because many times I know for myself and many of our, viewers have a sense of fear. It's like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm good enough. That sense of fear of like, well, I'll just not do it then. You didn't listen to your fear. You proceeded on. You said, okay, I can do this. And you went on the BBC show. I mean, that's just amazing. So yeah, tell us more of what What happened? We want to know more.
Wow, I say I did this. The researchers, when they escorted me out of the secure building on the BBC, he said to me, "That was great, Sharon. You did a fantastic job." And so that's it. I came home. I was on cloud nine, and then the haters started hating on me and saying all types of things. And I also, the next day, I spoke to the PR boss that I'd enrolled with, and she said, well, what did you do? And I told her, and she screamed down the phone at me, "You don't do it like that." So that was the end of that relationship.
Oh, no. So funny.
And I thought I've done something wrong. I shouldn't have done this. Then it was all like, oh my goodness, people are hating on me. I've been shouted at. What am I going to do? And I laid low for a little while. It really did knock my confidence. And then I had a good talk to myself. And I said, am I going to let these people dictate to me what I'm going to do? Am I going to let them stop me from having my dreams of what I want to do? Am I going to let them validate me because I know what I'm doing is good? So the answer I came up with was no, I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to let others tell me that. I was going to go for it. And as they say, then, as the saying goes, the rest is history. That was just the beginning of major media attention.
Wow. Amazing. I mean, so you pivoted right there, then and there. You didn't listen to the naysayers or the haters. You said, this is what my passion is, and I'm going to continue. You didn't quit, which is really great, because a lot of times when we're in the throes of things, and especially if you've got these haters out there, many times we may think, oh, I'll just quit. What's the point? Or I don't know if I can do this. Again, the fear sets in, and you didn't quit. I mean, what a great lesson for all of us. Fabulous.
Yeah, it was so exciting though. And I think we do that, Suzanne, don't we? We wait for other people to validate us. And that's not what it's about. I knew enough. In the work that I had done, I'd been on my own personal discovery for many years. So I knew how to keep my mindset strong when there was people doubting all around me. Even my husband, when I was being interviewed, he was pacing the floorboards at home, profusely sweating. He said out loud, "Get her on and get her off."
Wow. Your own husband, huh?
Because he was frightened. I had no prior media experience. I was in front of millions of people. So I kept myself contained. I kept myself focused, and I didn't mix with people who would reflect back to me their own fears. So, and it was obviously the best thing that I ever did. From that, my dog training career launched overnight. I got celebrity clients. It just catapulted. Then several years later, my publicity was born. Get free publicity today, and never looked back.
Wow. Again, amazing story. And I just love how you said that, again, you didn't listen to that fear. You moved on, you moved forward. And the other point that I love about what you just said is that you didn't surround yourself with toxic people. Like you didn't pay attention to toxic people. You invited people in your network or sphere that were encouraging and supportive, and that knew that you can do this, rather than being around toxic people. So I think that's a really important thing to note as well. So can you give us some tips or advice for us, how you pivoted, and how we can pivot as well?
Yeah, I think it's further on to that. And it's a great point, isn't it, Suzanne, where it's lovely to have people that are positive around you. But there is something additional to that for me. In that instance, I didn't have anybody. It was, I was doing something that nobody else would dare to do, that I knew. So it created fear and angst in people. And that's where people, they're doing it because they love you. They do it because they think they're trying to help you. But if you are strong in yourself and your own belief, then it's you have to listen to. So what I do and I do every day is I talk to myself. I don't wait for other people to tell me, yes, that's good. It feels lovely when people agree with us. It feels lovely when people are there to support us. But, people are busy. They're not always willing or able. They've got their own lives. The only person that I really depend on is me. I tell my own story. I validate myself. I'm the one that says, go for it. I'm not listening to other people. It's lovely when it happens, but I do not rely or depend on it.
Excellent tip. I mean, I tell my clients a lot of times, and this is what I practice as well, is I am statements, because those two words are very powerful. So to say, I am confident, I am courageous, I am strength, whatever it is you want to be, you step into that level of abundance. You step into that level of strength. You identify with that. And I tell my clients all the time when they feel a lack of confidence or a lack of self-esteem, I say, I want you to do these affirmations and write it down on a card, like a 3x5 card, write it down or put it in your phone. And then when you wake up in the morning, say those statements. And when you go to sleep at night, say those statements. And it's amazing how transformative it is. So can you give us a little bit more information or more tips that we can use?
Yes, certainly. Other things that I do is I have like a memory bank of times where I felt really good. Things have been really successful for me. That story that I've told you is definitely one of them for me. That's where I'm saying to myself, yes, I can do it. I listen to the researcher when he feeds back to me that I did a great job. So it's like having a memory pool that you can pull it onto, but keep practicing. It's not just a one-off or anything like that. You've got to do it so it becomes second nature. So it's going into the subconscious level, and then you're hearing it and playing it out in that way.
Yeah, again, another excellent tip I recommend to clients that I work with is create your badass list. So, and that's your badass list is all the qualities, accomplishments, those things that you feel the most proud about yourself, and create that list. And then also what you can do is you can put that list, say those things in your phone, in your cell phone, right? In the voice memo. So that when you go to sleep at night, you can hear those stories that are positive stories about yourself. And so that when you wake up in the morning, you feel energized, positive, ready for the day. So again, I love that.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Other tips or techniques that you've used?
Yes, I think it's also one of those things, if you're trying to manifest something, there's something that you really want, then, that to close your eyes. What does that feel like to already have it? Living out as if it's already happened, and not concentrating on how it's going to happen. It's you want it because, and when you have it, what does it feel like? What does it taste like? What does it smell like? Are you lying on a beach somewhere? Can you hear the lapping of the waves? Can you feel the sun on your skin and smelling the sea air? So really get it, use all your senses, become it, engulf it, own it. So the more you can do that, but again, if there's anything that I can say to you, is because people will say, oh, I've tried that, it doesn't work. I've done affirmations, I've done this, it didn't work for me. The only reason it doesn't work for people is because you don't practice it enough. It's like practice, and then practice for more. Practice it. Get a routine. Do it while you're in the shower. I do loads when I'm out walking my dog. And I'm telling myself the stories, and also one thing I love to do, Suzanne, as well, is particularly when I'm dog walking, I will speak out loud and I will tell, as if I'm talking to a friend, and I'll tell her exactly what's happened. I start with the end result. So I've already got what it was I wanted, and how easy it was, and how it manifested and unfolded, and how everything just pieced together, and how wonderful it is, and how I feel, and the things that happened in between. And I say, oh, and let me tell you about this. So you're invoking and bringing in all your emotions, because it's one thing to say things, but if you're not bringing in your emotions and your feelings, it's not having the same effect.
Love it, love it, love it, Sharon. I absolutely love that, because again, it's the whole part about bringing in your whole body into the experience and visualizing what you want in your life. I think that's so fantastic, because it does happen when you visualize what you want in your life, and you really create that picture for yourself, what it is you want, how you're going to feel when you have that, whatever that is. Yes, you can create it, you can manifest it. And I just love what you talked about. I mean, like on the beach and everything. I was like, I'm there on the beach with you. I can sense it already. So fantastic. Yeah, that's so great. I'm wondering, who was your inspiration throughout your life?
I think that I think I've always just been someone that sees something and then lines up and goes for it. I think my parents, to be honest, because they were never entrepreneurs or business owners, but it's the best way to explain it is that they never projected fears on me. So they always believed in me. They they didn't hold me back, or they didn't stop me from doing anything, and they didn't try to influence me in their own beliefs either. So what they thought that I should do, they left it completely up to me, but they still loved me, if that makes sense. So they set up a nurturing environment for me to do what I wanted to do. So I'd have to say my parents.
That is, wow. It sounds like you have really incredible parents, really. And so, what would you say to people that don't have parents, like how you have parents? It sounds very incredible. I mean, I had a mom that was very much like that as well. Like, you can do anything you want, just put your mind to it. And she was so supportive and encouraging, amazing person. But what would you say to people, to our viewers that don't have that kind of a background? What would you say to them?
Well, I think, very much like has happened to me. I'm my biggest cheerleader.
Mm,
I know we so often, I hear this so much, is people are looking outside of themselves to get validation, to get approval, to get people to say that yes, what they're doing is okay. And what I want to get the message across to people is that that's our job. It's
hmm.
our job to be our biggest cheerleader. It's our job to listen to us. And yes, it's so much fun when we're interacting with others and things like that. And yes, we want to attract into our lives the positive people. But even the most positive people are bad days. So,
Hmm.
and I find that's what happened with my parents. They didn't lead the way in any shape or form for me. So they weren't successful people in their own right. They just didn't get in my way.
Ah, yeah, that sounded like really fabulous parents. Really, really amazing parents to have. So what would you suggest for our viewers? What would be their first step to have that sense of a mindset and to build that manifestation? What would you say to our viewers?
I think to get clear on what you actually want.
Mm,
Sometimes we're
uh-huh.
we're so much in our heads, or what I personally do. I mean, I'll be doing a number of projects at the same time, and I'm focusing completely on that project, what I'm dealing with at that time. But there'll be a number of things going on, and people say to me, how do you remember? How do you cope with it? How do you deal with it? And the reason is I'm careful what I let into my mind. We're careful about what we put into our bodies and what we eat, and we know things can be harmful for us. I'm careful what comes into my mind. So for me, I don't watch the news. I don't read the things of what's going on in the world. Yes, I know exactly what's going on, and if I can help in what's going on, I'm there straight away. But I'm not getting engulfed in things that I can't do anything about. I stay informed, but I don't chew it up and spit it out. So I stay very clear and very focused on what's going on, and my headspace is not cluttered then. And that's what
I
I
love
find
that.
really
I love that.
helpful.
Yeah, I love that tip, Sharon, because I think that is very important, especially with everything that's going on in our world. It can be a downer, if you will, to constantly listen to the news or to even watch the news. And in fact, I don't watch the news either. I am informed of what's going on. I don't watch the news. I tell that to my clients as well, especially clients that have anxiety or they're fearful. I mean, or they may not even have that, but I always suggest and recommend, don't watch the news, especially at night, because that's what you're going to sleep with.
Yes.
Are those negative images, the negative sounds, and all of that negativity. You want to go to sleep, especially at night, to a positive vibration, if you will, positive energy, because then you'll wake up and your subconscious will be working as you're going to sleep at night. When you wake up, you'll have more of a positive intention and a positive looking forward, if you will.
Yes.
So again, that's a fabulous tip that you gave. Yeah, I love it. So I'm really curious too as to what do you do now? Because I know you do a lot with clients. So tell us a little bit more of what you do now with your business.
Well, from that one interview that I got, I mean, that went on. I did a BBC TV show, a Channel 5, ITV. I mean, it just catapulted then. I've had a BBC radio slot, a regular one, since 2008.
Oh, wow.
So
That's great. Congratulations.
It launched my business practically overnight. I mean, you hit it big, you go for gold, and then, yes, it is life changing. So that's why I love publicity so much. Yes, my dog training business, that's still Good Dogs is my dog training business. I have clients. Well, what I did is I did online courses now with that, and I've got, like, on one platform, I've got over 12,000 clients, or 12,000 students, should I say, in 142 different countries.
Wow.
So
Congratulations.
Thank you. That is so rewarding. But again, my real passion nowadays is really helping business owners, entrepreneurs to get phenomenal media attention. And I've just recently opened up a couple of slots where I am personally representing people. And this isn't for everybody. This is just for people who are already doing amazingly well and just want to dominate the media. So that's really where I'm at now. I know we had a lovely time together getting you on a major global platform. That's what I love to do.
Yeah, and that was, it was so exciting for me to get on a global platform, and it really helped me to propel where I'm going. So I thank you again for that. And congratulations for, so it sounds like you have two businesses going on. You have your dog business, your dog training business, and 12,000 students. That's incredible. Plus you're doing the publicity. So, and you're focused more, it sounds like, more on the publicity side.
I am now. Yes, because the lovely thing with online courses, Suzanne, as I'm sure you know, is that they work themselves. You put in a lot of hard work. I mean, I several years ago, I had a publicity, a media company televise me. So it was, it was a big 30-day project and everything. It was a huge thing to do and very costly. But of course, once you have that, you roll it out and reach as many people as you can to make a difference. And so that more or less runs itself now, that business. And And I just have the fun doing the publicity myself and working with amazing people to really get them amazing credibility and authority and on the biggest platforms I can.
Yeah, that sounds great because I think that is one of the biggest ways to gain credibility and authority is to get publicity, and especially if it's free publicity, which I know that
Yes.
you help your clients to do that. And again, I've seen it myself professionally, that it's helped so much to launch my business and get my business going. I mean, I've already had my business, but I've seen it go to the next level because of all the publicity, because I've been in the media and in getting all of that. And I've seen that too with other colleagues and other business owners and entrepreneurs. When they have that publicity, it really propels them to the next level. That's really great that you're doing that. So do you take on clients or you're doing courses, or tell us a
I
little bit more about that?
Yes, I have got some courses that I'm doing. And then just recently, and this is what I'm so excited about, Suzanne, I
Uh-huh.
just recently have opened up and it for a very selective, exclusive number of people where I am personally representing them in the media. And that just fills my heart with just passion because it's so exciting. Not only is doing the interviews really exciting, it's the results and how it can change people's lives is just so exciting. So as I say, this is really for people that are doing phenomenally well in their business already, but they
Mm-hmm.
want to leave a legacy. They want to hit the big platforms. They want to make a difference in their lives. They've got a real calling. It's for those types of people, and that for me would be a perfect match.
So I'm getting some comments on our Facebook page and our Facebook Live page. And so some of the questions that have been asked is, so is this global publicity or is it mainly in Europe and the UK? Because I know you're from Europe, from the UK. Yeah, is it also in the States? So can you tell us a little bit more about that as well?
Yes, it was a bit like when we worked together, Suzanne, that was a global platform. And
Mm-hmm.
then you're interviewed in the States by that company. So the lovely thing is with the internet as it is today, it becomes global very quickly. So, yeah, there are always going to be things that are relevant to that particular country. But even in the UK, when you watch some of the programs, again, I think with COVID, it
Mm-hmm.
set up this type of interview we're doing now. We see that so much on our screens now. So yes, that opens up for other countries as well. I particularly am focusing at the moment on people from the UK, but I will also be opening up that down the line for other people in the world.
Okay, that's good to know. Because again, that is a real positive thing that happened with COVID. I mean, we're now all virtual, right? And it's
Yeah,
global. And
yes,
we don't have to go into a studio to
yeah.
produce anything. We can do it from home, which is amazing. It's
So
really amazing that we
easy
have
as
to do that.
well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
very easy to do. And it just, when I did a lot of the BBC interviews, I'd have to drive to the studios. So it was
Mm-hmm.
really, a day out that I would take, and I'd be on air for about 20 minutes. And yes, it was still worth it and still amazing to do. But now when I do the interviews, I'm sitting where I'm sitting here in my office, like I'm talking to you. I'm
Uh-huh.
not, of course, I'm not on the screen. It is audio because it's radio. But it's so much easier now.
I know it is. It's amazing how much easier it is because I've been on a lot of different shows, and it's so funny because I'm right here, home office, and then it goes nationally, it goes internationally, and
Yeah.
it's an amazing thing that we can all do this now. We don't
Yes,
have to go into a studio. We can have it at home. We can create our own studio at home. So that's pretty amazing that we can do that.
it
And
certainly is.
yeah, yeah. I'm so glad that you talked about all these pivots in your life and that, especially with your dogs. That's really an incredible story. Any other pivots that you've made in your life or business that you can talk about
Well,
that
I
you want
think
to share with us?
Well, I think it's, obviously from the complementary therapies to the dog training to the publicity, and I think people get a bit confused. I think, well, how on earth can you really do dog training and publicity? It's such different industries. But obviously, after listening to my story and what happened, of course, that's what happened for me. So, I mean, I suppose another type of thing that pivoted in my life is that in my own personal journey, my own self-development journey, when I was doing the complementary therapies, I went on I used to go on so many things, retreats and things like that. But one real life-changing thing for me was I did a 4-week spiritual pilgrimage across India.
Oh, wow.
And that's when I came back. And before I went, I wanted to stay quite small. I had the thriving complementary therapy clinic. It was a great business, but I was really staying small, and I was happy to stay small. And I went on this pilgrimage, and oh my goodness, that's hours and hours of interview saying about that. But it completely changed my mindset. I really felt that I wanted to get out there. I felt I had a message to share with the world, and I was going to go for it. And that was a real pivotal time for me. And that's what led me into that led me into going to the PR company, and ultimately just taking on my own PR and going for it.
So what would you say to someone? That's really incredible that you went through that whole pilgrimage and that you gained so much from that, and that you saw that you need to play bigger, like instead of playing small.
Mm-hmm.
So again, what would you say to our viewers that have that fear, or like they have a message they want to give, they have a message that they know will make an impact, yet they're still playing at a small level? What would you say? What would you say to that?
I'd say to them, how would it feel to have what you want? How would it feel to just be abundant, to have all the things that you've ever dreamed of? Now, sometimes that might be a bit scary for people. So it shows you there the areas that you're not quite lined up with. So just keep practicing it, so it then becomes part of you. You're not reaching out for something that's ahead of you. You keep practicing that it just feels about right. Like when we learn to drive a car, we get in the car and we think, oh my goodness, where do I start? We have to think about how to change from one gear to another, how to maneuver everything. And then, it's only a matter of weeks or months or whatever it is where we've practiced so much, and it's all subconscious. How often do we get in the car and we arrive somewhere and we think, do you know what? I didn't even think about anything to do with driving this car. I've just arrived.
Yeah.
It's like when you start to live it from the inside out, you feel it from the inside out, and it's not going to feel right for you all the time straight away. So keep practicing it. Do a daily routine with it. Do it first. That's when I do first thing in the mornings. I'm doing my meditation. I'm really standing into what I want to have. What does it feel like? What does it look like? Why do I want it? I want it because. Why do I want it? Not how is it going to happen, and is it going to happen, and where's my stuff? It's like, when this happens, what does it feel like? So you embrace it from the inside out.
Wow, love that. Really? So you do a mindfulness type meditation. Sounds like every morning you do that and you practice that, so that you're in that intention of what you want in your life and bringing that to fruition. You're manifesting that. And then what do you do in the evening? Can you give us your habits or what you do, your routine for the evening? So that's what you do in the morning. Is there anything else you do in the morning? And then tell us what you do for the evening as well.
Yeah, so that's predominantly what I do in the morning. I also go out dog walking, because obviously I've got a lovely rescue dog, and he's such a joy to have. He was a nightmare when we first got him, because he was a rescue and stressed out and all the rest of it. So he put all my dog training skills to the test. but now he's just an absolute joy to have. So my walks are very pleasurable. He's off lead, he's looking at me, I'm not stressing about him. So it's a very pleasurable walk. And that's where I am regaling myself with how amazing my life is, what I love about my life, what I appreciate about my life, what I appreciate about the people around me. And that's when I might have that little conversation with a friend out loud, imaginary friend, or saying, oh, I've got to tell you about this that happened yesterday. Oh, and guess what happened there? And so that's the type of morning thing for me. Like I have that walking meditation as well as that initially when I wake up. And then when I go to bed, I'll be just relaxing there. I might do a quick meditation before bed, or I might just drift off to sleep while I'm doing a meditation. But I'm very careful about what I'm, like we've been talking about, Suzanne, what I'm putting into my mind, particularly before I'm going to bed.
That's great. I love those habits because we had on our show a couple of episodes before that he'd talk about the different habits and how to create those routines, and how to create a morning routine. That is so important. I love that you do that mindful meditation and intention and manifesting. And then the whole thing about gratefulness and what you're grateful for really does transform one's day, transforms one's life, because you're focused on what you're grateful for. And it could be the small things, the large things, really focusing in on that. Love that whole routine. And then the evening routine of making sure that you're not watching the news, for example, at night, really focused in on, relaxing. And again, that positive intention of what did I accomplish during the day? Like really focused in on that so that you can relax into the evening. I think that is fabulous, really great. So any other tips that you want to give us as we're about ready to end this segment? Anything else that you want to share with us? And we'll have all your social media and how to connect with you after our segments. If there's anything else that you wanted to add, appreciate it.
Well, I would really like to say to people, people tend to be a bit scared about getting media attention. What if they say something wrong? What if it doesn't happen? That type of thing. To get media attention, it's available for everybody. We all have a business story. We all have a why we're doing what we're doing. And any type of human interest story is going to be very, very interesting to a journalist. They are professional storytellers. So you have a story to tell. Everyone can get media attention. So remember my story. I had no website. I had no prior media experience. I had no clients. I had no business even. So they didn't ask. They didn't want to know where I came from. They're not interested about me. They're interested about what I can do for them. How can I entertain them and their listeners? Or how can I inform or educate their listeners or viewers? So please go for it. It's there for everybody.
Very excellent point, Sharon, it's about the viewers, it's about the listeners and what you can do for them, right? So not about, because I see that a lot of times when people get into the media, they think, oh, it's about me and I'm going to share all of this about me. It's about the viewer, about the listener, what value you can bring to them. And like you said, I mean, that's an incredible story that you didn't have a website, you didn't have the business, you didn't have anything with the dog training business. You've had a passion and a real interest, and then you actually trained your dogs that people were saying, oh, you can't have two dogs at the same time, and you actually trained them. And so that was your own personal story, and then you got on the media.
Yeah.
So I love that. I love your story. I love your tips and tools and techniques. Thank you so much for being on our show. We really appreciate it. And again, for everyone out there, watch our show, Pivot Now. You can watch it live every Tuesday, 10 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. And we have, again, wonderful entrepreneurs, business owners, and career professionals that'll come on board, that'll share their tips, techniques, life and business hacks. People like Sharon that will share their personal story and their professional story. So come on board again and join our show, watch it, and we'll also have your social media contacts as how to connect with Sharon after the show. So thank you so much again. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Take
It's been
care.
a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for having me on your show.
Great. Thank you. I'm Suzanne Sibilla. I'm the owner of Sibilla & Associates, which is the premier leadership and employee development company.
Overcome obstacles, reframe your reality, love life, and have growth goals. Change and shift your energy. Pivot. Change and shift your energy. Pivot.